Here we are, guys. We're gonna pour this out today. Biscuits up on the Circle T truck, putting the color in it. We got like 7 yards of concrete here, putting a little dark color in it, and then we're going to put some charcoal release, deep charcoal release. That's what we're up to. Stay tuned. It's gonna be a nice little pour today. Right now we're mixing up the color, guys. It probably takes about 5 to 7, 8 minutes of mixing. He's gonna spin his drum, just mixing that up, get that color in there so that it looks uniform. Now we're gonna fill some cells of the blocks along that Bilko door. And we're gonna put some paper to isolate it from the slab. That's what we're doing. Oh yeah, we got some new shirts. Circle T took care of us. Even Big Biscuit got one this time. He's looking sharp. Big Biscuit, right there. He got the big shirt on. Hey guys, Bondo here. I'll try to walk you through what we're doing. Well, we started out over here by this Bilko door, and we're just filling up the cells of the blocks because there was some busted blocks and stuff in there. Then we put some tar paper over the cells of the blocks, and we're pouring the concrete on top of that. You don't want the slab to be tied down into the blocks, because if it expands and contracts, it'll pop that row of blocks off there. So that's what we were doing here. Now we moved the truck down here, guys, and we're going to start right here. We're going to start pouring in the corner here. I got a hook in my hand and I'm pulling up the wire mesh with. We had some heavy duty wire mesh in here, and I was pulling it right up into the slab, and then I'm there magging the edge. We have some stick-on expansion foam along the edge between the house and the slab, and I'm just magging to the top of that, and the guys are just puddling the concrete out. Chris is hitting the edges there with the concrete vibrator, which will make it so it doesn't have a lot of honeycombing. That's what he's doing there, and then I'm over here just magging the edge behind him. Big Biscuit and Tuner out there with the come-alongs, just leveling things out, and then we're gonna use the power screed here in a minute. I got a power screed, but we dumped out a lot of this concrete before we even started leveling it out. Here I go with, that's my 16-foot screed stick, and we just started pulling it across from the Bilko door right to the edge. I had Chris and Big Biscuit pulling it off. Our Tuna was down in the Bilko door and they were pulling it off. Me and Big Biscuit are puddling. I had him sweep it right around there, and then in a minute here I'm going to get my power screed and just zip it right down through there. Yeah, here we go. Kind of flattening the edge here, and then this thing will run wet screed to the hard board, and you can just, as long as you got good puddlers behind you, just pulling it right off. It works pretty good. And you can always go back over it like I did if you want to get a little high spot or something. That's how we did it right there, guys. We didn't have to set grade at all because we used the forms as grade. We didn't have any center marks, and this slab has a pitch in it, so any water will run off of it. We didn't go crazy with the pitch because she's going to have patio furniture out there. I think we had like a 2-inch pitch on it. Here I am with a shorter screed stick over by the Bilko door, just screeding that off. Big Biscuit's got the bow float, and he's flattening it out. He's going to bow float it in both directions. That's just going to knock down the stones, pull up some paste, make it nice. At the end here, before we're done, we're going to use what's called a funny float. It's a magnesium trowel on a stick, just like this bow float is. That's how we're going to do that. That's how we poured it out, guys. We're just finishing up the other end. You can't see it as well where the camera's positioned. You can see Big Biscuit here. Like I said, he's hitting it in the other direction now. There I am with the power screed, just finishing up. Gonna buzz off that last little bit at the end. And that's how we poured it out. And this is a stamped one, guys. As you probably seen the thumbnail. We're going to stamp it, so stay tuned. show you how we stamp this. It's an Ashler slate stamp that we used, and we used a dark powder release. We threw that on, broadcasted that on to the slab. And I think there's a step up there too that we got to pour. So I don't know if we're pouring that step here. Right after we got done, we had to pour that little step. I think that's what we're doing right now, is pouring that step. Not the best angle for the camera that day. It was pretty cool this morning. We had a lot of good time to work with the concrete. We weren't in a huge rush. We poured it, I think, at 7 a.m. It was about probably 60 degrees, so it was nice and cloudy. Stamped concrete's a lot better if you got some cloud cover. Oh, I guess I funny floated it. Oh, Big Biscuit, I sent him to get some powder from a friend of mine, so I was funny floating it here, guys. That's that tool I was talking about. It's just like a big magnesium float on a stick, and it's adjustable. It's a pretty valuable tool when you're doing this because it saves you from having to get out there and knee board all this. I don't really like knee boarding these bigger pieces of concrete like that. You can, but I just soon use this tool. Makes it a lot easier. If you guys like this video, make sure you leave me a comment and let me know if this is how you guys do it. If you do it different, I always like to hear how other people do stuff. This is how we did it. If you've seen part one, we did this foundation. We used chimney blocks to build this up so it wasn't sitting on the ground. But there it is. Stay tuned. We're going to be stamping it. And we put a border on this one too, guys. So I'll show you how we did that border. If you guys are not subscribed to my channel, check it out. I got probably 300 videos on there. I'm all about concrete and a lot of this kind of stuff. A lot of foundation work, flat work. We do patios. We do concrete around pools, sidewalks. Like I said, we do garages, basements. We do basements out of Nudura we use different kinds of insulated concrete forms, but we've been using Nudura lately. But their pricing's kind of going high, so I might end up switching to a different brand if they don't get the prices where they need to be. Here I am, guys, with that funny float again, just hitting it in the opposite direction. If you can hit it in two different directions, the more you prepare the surface, the better it's going to be for stamping. And you want the surface to be all the same. You don't want to just like mag what you can reach and then leave the rest both loaded, because it'll take the color different. Ask me how I know. I found that out a few times, where you just reach in and maybe mag the edge as far as you can reach, but you leave the rest both loaded. It'll actually take the color quite a bit different, and you'll actually see that in the finished product. The stamped concrete's very finicky. Even the shade areas of the house will sometimes take the color different, and it'll cure out a little different. But this was nice because it was cloudy, like I said. So this was one of our best looking Ashler slate jobs we've done. Everything went perfect because there's so many variables when you're doing this that can mess you up. It's really out of your control, a lot of things. Some things are, but stay tuned just for a minute here, and I'm going to be edging this thing. I'll show you how to edge it. We put that border, we use that border edger. It's a craft tool. I'll show you that here in a minute. This is a craft border edger. There's the number CF617. That's the one we use. It's adjustable. You can loosen these and move that around. That's how we create this border. We've already edged it with a brass edger to set the stones. Now we just follow that groove in there with this. Got all our stamps pre-powdered. That's what you want to do. You want to lay them on the ground and get powder on them ahead of time. Whatever color you're using. We're using a deep charcoal color. Got a brand new bucket of it. The boys are putting getting it in a couple pails for us. We'll use that brush to broadcast it. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna start doing this edge. We'll start sprinkling it along this edge. We're gonna start sprinkling along this edge here and stamping that edge. That's what we're gonna do first. Okay guys, so here we go with the stamping. We started with the border. We just took this foam board and the boys laid it down on the edge so we weren't getting powder on the rest of the slab. They just dusted the powder down. That's a release agent. It's a powdered release. It keeps your stamp from sticking. So I got this little floppy stamp, but I'm just tapping it in there and rotating it every time, which creates a texture on the edge of where the border is. So we went around and did the whole border, and then we're gonna go ahead with the Ashler slate and stamp the rest of the pad. But that's how we did the border, guys. And then while we were stamping the Ashler slate, we didn't let the Ashler slate run onto the border. We used the seamless skin to block it so that you weren't stamping the Ashler slate into that border edge. So here we go, guys. Now we're stamping with the Ashler slate. I don't know, I kind of missed the first section, but this is how we did. I walked these in. I walked this whole thing myself. I didn't use the stamper tool, which is like a hand tamper. If you get on this quick enough and you're not sinking in, I got these flat bottom shoes, these big stamping shoes that you can use, and they work pretty good. And I just walked it in. But as you can see here, we'll speed it up for you so it doesn't take so long. But I got Tune out there throwing powder, and Big Biscuit, and he's over there with Chris with the seamless skin, just kind of holding the seamless skin so we don't stamp the Ashler slate onto the border like I was saying. You'll see how we kind of did it. And there's some flexible Ashler slate stamps that you can do up against the edges. You can see they're kind of setting the seamless skin down and then putting the floppy stamp over it for the Ashler slate. So we, like I said, we don't mess that border up. That's how we do it. It's not as hard as it looks. You just got to be careful not to mess the border up. But that border really creates, I think it looks really nice. Just creates an extra detail that adds to the project. So we're just about done here, guys. Just doing some touching up here. And then we got this little step. Right here's the step. And that was pretty small and easy. You just stamp that out. We didn't border that little step. We didn't put a border on it like the rest. That's how we did it, guys. And just see that's working good too. Let's dunk it. Rub it out. So guys, we pulled the face off, the form face off, and we're just rubbing it out with sponges just to make it look better. And see, we're using like some rubber floats. They're not sponges, they're like a rubber float. And we're just rubbing that face with some clean water, and that just closes that honeycombing up and makes it look a lot better. So just don't pull the face off until you're right ready. The boys were trying to get ahead of me and pulling the face off. I said, don't pull it until we're ready, because as soon as you pull it, it's going to start to dry quicker. That board actually holds the moisture in the concrete, so you only want to pull it off right when you're ready, and then only pull off as far as you can rub down. Don't get too far ahead of yourself, otherwise it'll be harder to get the look that you want and get rid of that honeycombing. We didn't have a lot of honeycombing because we remember back when you seen us vibrate, Chris was vibrating the face of that form, and that made a big difference. It didn't have hardly any honeycombing. So that's how we did it, guys. We're just cleaning up around the step here. Same thing, rubbing out the step. And stay tuned. We're gonna cut this thing. I cut it with a steel diamond saw. Guys, there it is. Obviously, we got to clean it and seal it and all that, but come out pretty nice. We did a little border around it. That's what she looks like. Well, guys, that's about it. I hope you enjoyed part 2 of the frost-proof foundation here that we did, this patio for my aunt. It come out real nice. We'll see the finished product after we sealed it here. Okay, guys, we got her all washed and cut. Got to do little angle cuts off the Bilko door because they always crack there. But this is kind of what it's going to look like when it's sealed because it's a little bit wet right now. But we got all the powder washed off of it. And she's looking pretty sweet. We'll seal it up maybe tomorrow. It's supposed to rain tonight, so we're not going to do it tonight. But that's what she looks like. Here's the final product. My Aunt Charlotte's. All sealed up. It rained, so it's wet. Looks really sharp. We still got to put the Bilko door on there, and we're going to build her a set of steps there to come down.